talk about the heist thing because, again, that's where I met you at.
Yep.
And I tell people, everybody I bring on the show, they sometimes remember or don't remember why I bring them on, what makes them interesting to me. And what made you interesting to me was that I remember the time when Anthony just started playing football. He had another brother named Brandon also, who was pretty fast and was an athlete as well. But I was taking him on to Mark Harris and around doing the whole thing everybody do with their kids, getting them going. And I ran into Jerry Prim. He was out there with Emory. And he had mentioned to me he needed somebody to throw some passes for Emory. So I had Anthony throwing passes for him, getting him, they both working out or whatnot. And he mentioned to me, say, hey, Coach Rotsky. And I said, I don't know Coach Rotsky. He said, well, he's over at Cleveland Heights. And I said, oh, I think I brought my nephew up there a long time ago to meet you and that kind of thing. So anyway, I said, no, I met him a while ago. He said, you ought to meet him, man. You ought to get your son over there. He's helping get kids into college. My son is on his way. He's going and all these things. And Jerry was your
Jerry's the greatest.
Biggest fan. He out there pushing hard.
Still is the greatest.
And at that time, he was over at St. Peter Chanel. And he was all right over there because his friends went there. His friends he went through middle school, they got there. And so I remember the conversation with you because when we did get a chance to talk, I remember you met Anthony, you talked with him and everything. And me and you were on the phone talking and you called me, you asked me, did you make up your mind of what you're going to do with your son? I said, he's at St. Peter Chanel. I think he's going to stay at St. Peter Chanel. I think he's going to stay out there. He lives with his grandmother. And you said to me then, you said, why is your son living with his grandmother? And I said, what you mean? You said, why is your son living with his grandmother? You think his grandmother is going to help him become a man. Your son should be living with you. Whether he comes here to play football, you went through your Rotsky thing.
Yep.
Whether he comes here to play football or not, he should be living with you and you should be raising your son. He should not be over there with his grandmother. I remember you told me that. And from that standpoint, I was able to take that conversation and I went and I spoke with his grandmother and I told him, hey, I believe that I want Anthony to play football. I believe this coach over there at Cleveland Heights High School, who I talked to, I believe he's going to help Anthony get a scholarship, go to college and all these things. But Anthony has to live with me because he has to live in Cleveland Heights in order to go to Cleveland Heights School. Now, Anthony was 14 when I made this ask, but it was not a hard thing at all. It was like, okay. Now, in my mind, I'm playing this, oh, my God, I got to have this conversation, and this is going to be crazy. I got to argue with this lady about this and all of this and carrying on. But it was real simple. She was like, fine, I'll go ahead. And she gave me custody.
Listen, Ken, you and I know this.
Yeah.
The tragedy of our culture is we need more Kenn Dowells. We need the black fathers to be in their kids' lives. Do you know how many kids I have to talk to every year that feel it's their fault, that their fathers don't want to be in their lives?
Right.
And I say, listen, it's on them, dude. You're a great kid. It would be a blessing to be your father. So I said, learn from that and become a better father than the one you don't have. Become a better father than the one you don't have, and learn from the ones you have around you, the coaches, and how we love our families, how we love you. And know that's what a true father is. So we need more of the Kenn Dowells.
Oh, yeah. And that was it. That was the deciding factor, man. And so I tell you that I brought you on because, one, that was an interesting part that helped pivot things in my life to help me be able to bring Anthony in. And he got a chance to grow up with his sisters and everything else under that umbrella. And it was a big thing. His relationship with you and him is good days, bad days. He remembered the runs.
Oh, listen, you know what? You know what I've always said, Ken? I don't necessarily care if my players like me when they play for me, though I think we do have really good relationships, but I hope they love me when they leave because hopefully we've given them the tools.
Yes.
Hard work, never quit, never give up, never let your family down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what I talk to him about. I said all the time, you might say, oh, coach was this, he was that, he made us run, he did this. But all of those little pieces I see, you still got them. And it was the stuff that got you. And if you go on to help and coach any other sport, you ain't gonna be no other way but the way that you were used to being, and it's gonna be the same way Rotsky taught you.
You know what? And it's the discipline, but hopefully, I hope your son will say, Coach Rotsky was tough, man. He gave me some tough love. But hopefully he says he was a fitty guy, say, 50% of that kind love, 50% of that tough love, because listen, kids right now, any kids, they don't need what they want to hear. They need what they need to hear.
Let's talk about that.
This is Strategic Moves with Kenn Dowell.